What is going on, guys? Welcome to another RMA Fire tutorial. I am RMA, and today I want to share with you how to make really cool liquid fluids in Houdini that are controlled by a object that creates some sort of velocity, and then that velocity drives the liquid. And then we're gonna look into how to mix different colors based on the velocity, and then these colors we're gonna mix with a different material so that we can have a mix of color based velocities and material mixes, because as you can see here I mixed some paint with gold. So how do we go about doing this? Let's start with, inside of Houdini, I will give you the main project file, and then you will get this project file, which is the one that we're gonna tweak during the tutorial. So first things first, let's come into the create base. And in the create base, we are gonna create our base. To create our base, what I'm gonna do is basically just put down a sphere, set down the scale to this and rows. And I just wanted to add an extrusion to it with a little bit of an inset, as you can see. And what inset does, it just creates like those little holes in there. And then I'm outputting the front and the back group. Basically what that is that it's gonna allow me, if we were to like color it so that you guys see what I'm doing, for those of you who don't know, extrude the front, let's make it a primitive. Let's make it a different color. Basically, it gives me this group, and it gives me the other group as well on the outside. Okay, so what we're gonna do is extrude this group. What we're gonna do is do another extrusion and select that group, and then this one I am extruding it and twisting it a little bit and adding some subdivisions to it. So I wanted to create this, you know, I'm thinking of it as kind of like a, how do you call it, like an engine kind of thing that is gonna rotate and make the water move around it. So that's why I named anim here. I spelled it wrong, but this transform here, I'm adding some animation to it. So I like to do like split top and bottom, and do my animation stuff in here, animation editor. And here you can see what's happening on my curves on the animation. So there's multiple ways of animating in Houdini. Of course, we can do it procedural. If we do a transform, we put this down here, you will see that I can basically on this transform, just gonna edit, give me a sec. Don't worry about it, it's just reading like my motion effects that I'll teach you guys what it is in a second. Anyway, to add an animation, say for example we want this to move from here to here, we alt click here, then we move, and then we move our thing here and click again, another alt click, and that's gonna, oops, what's going on here, edit, delete, revert to defaults, alt click, move, alt click, and there we go. And then if we come into the animation editor and hit H, you will see that we have curves. So you can control this, basically something like this would start slow, go easy, and then fast. I mean start fast, easy, fast. Or like we could, slow, fast. And then we could do slow, fast, slow. This is just curves. If you wanna I'm not gonna go too deep into it. but there's also expressions that we can use, like $F, and this will allow the thing to rotate infinitely. So we can definitely animate this thing procedurally, but in my case, I wanted some very specific Y movements on the Y. So if you come in here and we visualize what I did on the Y, if you pull this down, you will see that it goes further down, further up in this one. But I just wanted to have that control and have it go faster here, boom, 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 and then like, you know, wanted to have that manual control. The other thing that I animated manually was my scale, and you can see it. Let's see, my rotation manually, because I wanted it to go this way, then it rotates the other way. You can kind of play with this as you wish. You can add more keyframes if you didn't want to like control click here. You can come in here and control click here and add a keyframe. But you will see that this, where I did it manually because it dramatically impacts the way in which the liquid sim will look. The last thing that I did do is uniform scale. I added a motion effector. What that means is we're gonna add it here. We do click, motion effects, and I added a noise. And this lets you control the noise here inside of, you can see that you can kind of add some roughness, reduce the roughness, play with the amplitude, I don't know, whatever you want. It's a cool way of animating things, matte procedural. I'm just gonna go back. Delete this too here, and the motion effects you will find it in here. If you close it, you will be inside here, and then here is where this is transforming the Y, and then this is transforming the scale based on this noise, in case you wanted to tweak it more. And then we hit here, and you hit here, you will see that it's being referencing the scale and the noise based on the anim scale, and the noise add number 2 on the motion effects tab. Okay, so that's basically the animations that I'm using here. Inside of my trail, let's go ahead and close this and save. Inside of my trail sub, I'm computing the velocity, because we need to know what is the velocity that this thing is creating, because the velocity is what we're going to use to move the liquid around. And then I'm using a pyro source and creating a density, a temperature, a fuel, and a velocity attribute. So you can create a pyro source, and when you create the pyro source, you will see that it doesn't have all those attributes, and you don't have to write them all down. You can say source fuel. Let me see, I don't need burn, smoke to get density. And which one else did I use? Density, temperature, fuel, and velocity. Fuel. We don't need color, so we can add it here. And let's see, the density, I use density value, density is added here. And you can just pick and choose whichever ones you wanted to add. I added the velocity, so velocity, density, fuel, temperature, and you'll see I tweaked those 4 attributes just slightly, a little bit on like the scale here. Not much, nothing too crazy. And then I'm rasterizing those attributes using a attribute rasterize. So we plug this in here. You can select the group that we want this to be affected only on the particle group, as you can see here. So we can copy and paste this here. If we middle mouse, you will see that we have particles, extrude front, extrude back, and particle groups that we've created, the pyro source automatically will create that particle group for us. So we want to affect that particle group, and then here we can select density, P scale, and whatever, like fuel. I selected a bunch of them. We really only need 2 of them. We basically just need the velocity and the density. And I am normalizing by clamp value, so that, see, it clamps that volume. So essentially it's creating a volume out of the velocity. And this volume, out V vol, which is out of the velocity volume, is what we're going to use to move the liquid around. So that is our base. Now we're going to create a flip tank. And to create a flip tank, we can go here onto into our particle fluids, flip tank, and just hit enter, and this is going to create a flip tank for us. What this is going to do is it's going to create a couple of different nodes. I'm going to come out of it and show you. Obviously it created these 3 nodes. So let's see what these nodes give us. It's going to create these 3 nodes, and it's going to create an auto dock for you guys as well. So on the initial, it will come in with this thing here, which is the same thing that I have in my flip initial here. I just deleted the merge. Exactly the same thing. The flip fluid, this is where we're caching things. This is the same thing I've got in here. It's the same thing. I just moved it around a little bit. I just did like the cache here. I got rid of everything here. But I like to do it like this. I like to, my particles, cache them, then create the fluid and cache it. I'll show you guys in a second how I do that. And the flip fluid interior, you can get rid of that immediately, so you don't need that. So we basically have the flip initial, which is this one, and the flip fluid, which I named RS watershed A. We're gonna delete that, and inside of your dock, you'll see that this is the ones that it created for me when I built it. But initially, when you open up my scene, you'll see this don't exist. It's the same thing that it will create up here. So basically, this is what it's gonna create for you automatically. And that's it, guys. I hope you liked it. This is a really cool one of my favorite tutorials, and I will be back with more. I hope you guys enjoy it.